Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of Inside Red Dragon Sports. I'm your host, Geoff Hassard, Assistant Director of Athletics and Sports Information Director here at SUNY Oneonta, and we'll continue through our fall season. Tonight we have volleyball on, so please join me after the break, and I'll be joined by head volleyball coach Colleen Cashman.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
Welcome back to the show. Joining me now in studio is head volleyball coach Colleen Cashman. Welcome back to the show, Colleen.
Well, thank you, Jeff.
How are things going?
They're going well.
Yeah?
Thanks. Yeah, midway through the season. Seems kind of crazy that it's here already.
I know. It'll be playoff time will be here soon enough.
It will. Actually, I just this morning counted up how many matches we have left. We have 17.
Wow.
17 matches left.
17, and up to this point thus far, because we're going to have our 4 seniors on the show. We're going to really talk to them about how it's been a great trek for them and during their careers here, and just talk about all the things that attracted them to Oneonta. But how is the team doing overall?
Overall, we are having our moments.
Yeah.
And definitely having our moments. We have our moments of greatness, and then we have our moments of not so together on the court. Off the court, they're about as tight as I think we've ever been with all of the programs through the years. And just a great group to be around. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And they work hard. I think it's just a lot of the, we don't want to say we're young, like we have the 4 seniors, but at every point that we're in the game, not all 4 of them are in the game at the same time. And so, there are moments when we have 5, at least 5 freshmen and sophomores on the court, with the exception of, Christina Palacio, who is the libero who's on the court. So, I think that it's that whole, as we get further into the season, things are going to start clicking, and when they start clicking, then we'll get into our groove.
Now, every year we talk about, the team and how it changes. You have new players coming in. You don't know how they're going to mesh with the rest of them. And, how do you feel that this group has come together?
They've come together really well. There's, the personalities are all pretty similar. I think when we're in the recruiting process, both coaches and, players, when we have our recruits on campus, are looking for that individual that is going to fit in. I mean, that's what, I think 9/10 of it is when you're building a team. And, I think that all of the incoming players are just, they have that fun personality, so, you can kid with them, and yet at the same time they're fiercely competitive, and they do want to win. And, I think that's kind of, where for me as a head coach right now, it's the kind of that frustrating part for me, because I know that as a team, all 16 of them, they want to win. Right. That they're out there and they want to win. Right. So it's just trying to figure out that pattern.
So how do they, how do you get those players to gel and mesh with your upperclassmen? I mean, what kinds of things do you do to build that team culture, as we say?
Well, this year we did something out of the ordinary. We traveled to Puerto Rico for our preseason trip. We had never done that before. We always took a trip during the season. And this year we came in for preseason earlier than we have in the past. We actually had 10 days for preseason. And then we left on the 21st of August and went out there for 5 days, came back on the 25th. And, I think that really set the tone for them to just, mesh well together. We had our moments where we were on the court and we were playing our competition or we were practicing, and then we had the down moments when they could just go to the beach and relax and kind of get to know one another and swim in the ocean and that sort of stuff. And I think they really got a great benefit out of that, of being able to do that. And I think that's one of the bonuses of honestly coming to SUNY Oneonta as a student athlete, because we have that ability to take those kinds of trips because of our fundraising efforts, both as a team and as a department. And that's.
Now, how do you think down the road as we go, for the 4 seniors, obviously this is their last go-around, last run. You want to win the SUNYAC championship, go to the NCAA. With those younger players coming into the program, and you say, you have this trip where there is downtime to be able to just do things and be together as a team. I mean, what kind of dividends do you hope that it pays for, come that end of the season when it comes time to play in the SUNY tournament?
I think it's a recognition, excuse me, that they have gone through so much together. Like going to it was some tough competition out there, not to mention the humidity and the heat. Like they were playing, and I swear it felt like 120 degree, humidity and everything, and just trying to find within themselves to push each other like they did then, and have that come through. I think it also helps build the trust too, when you have your different, things that we do as a team. We had a little meeting last week, and that helped, and we talked about how many, out of the 4 years that you play college athletics, how it really ends up being, 1 to 1.5% of your life, of your total life.
Wow.
And so you really need to push when you're out there on the court and give everything.
In Division III, of course, the philosophy is the experience and participating, and I mean, within your program, those are the kinds of things that you've always kind of stressed and passed on, because certainly we have such a, just in the 15 years you've been here, it's that alumni base. I mean, the alumni just seem to come back whenever you have events, and they're all, you're in contact with them. I mean, are those the kinds of things that over a 4-year career for these student athletes that they can expect from your program?
Absolutely. I think at the beginning of the season, one of the things that I said to this team was that it's been a while, and it's not that my previous teams weren't close. We had our pockets of groups that were close, but as a whole, to know that our seniors graduating this year, like I have to say, a lot of the team is going to be invited to their weddings, like things like that, because they're so close as a group. You really get that, I really get that sense, with how they are off the court and on the court. And in fact, I said that to them at the beginning of the season, is that's one of the great things about being Oneonta volleyball, is that, it's the relationships that you build. And, that I can see them attending each other's weddings.
Right.
And
so with this senior group now, maybe, before we get you off here, but we can just talk about each one of them and maybe what they've meant to the program over their 4 years, just a little bit, what their positions maybe and how they've helped the program, build and create this.
You're going to make me cry. You are. You're going to make me cry on camera. Gosh.
I mean, certainly they
all four. I mean, honestly, all 4 of them. When they came in as a freshman group, we had 8. We had 8 come in that year, and for whatever reason, we lost 4. And these 4 have literally gone through the thick and thin of the program the last 4 years, the major ups and downs. And, through it all, they have been fiercely loyal to the program. They've been fiercely loyal to me as a head coach. And, I think fiercely loyal to themselves and to each other. And I think that's one of the things that, as I've talked to the incoming group and to this team, is that with this group of seniors, every single year, when we would sit down and talk, they had their goals. They knew exactly what they wanted to accomplish as that group. Right. And that's what they did. And this year, as leaders, that, it's all of that hard work for them is here right now. Right. I think, as far as our record's concerned, I mean, right now we are kind of struggling the last couple weekends, and I think once we get past the injuries and everyone gets back to 100%, after this off weekend, I think you're going to see a change in our team, and that from this point on, it's a different. We turn the corner and it's the start of our season again. Right. And I think we're going to find it's that final push, and it's the renewed sense of freshness. Right. I think taking an off weekend is beneficial. Right. To our team.
And so those program. 4 senior leaders are guiding you through that, and certainly all 4 of them have been tremendous leaders for us, even as underclassmen.
Right, absolutely.
They've all been starters. They've all been on the court. They're in there with the big points, the big wins. You know what I mean? So, that sense of being able to, as we say, the younger players. I mean, what do you think the younger players are taking from that?
Well, I hope that what they're taking from it is basically how to be just like them, honestly. Like, I mean, as far as role models and people that they can emulate for their work ethic, on the court, their work ethic off the court, their time management and organization and dedication, all of those things, the four of them have. They really do. And the amount of things that they do outside of volleyball, you know, I mean, they're the total package, and they're what we talk about this every year, you know, like what the Division III student athlete is all about and what it should be about. It's not just about coming to play the sport. It's about all of those experiences that you have on your campus when you're there.
Right. And so we're going to spend some time with the four of them now, and we're going to get to know them a little bit, and we're going to talk about that experience, and we want to thank you for coming by and giving us a little highlight of their experience and what they've meant to the program. So
well, thanks again for
good
having
luck
me.
the rest
I
of the
appreciate
year.
it.
Yes.
Thanks, Geoff.
I'd like to thank head volleyball coach Colleen Cashman for coming by tonight, and after the break, I'll be joined by our four senior leaders.
Cracked out
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to the show. We've got a real treat for you now. We're joined by our four senior members of the volleyball team. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Why don't we go around and let everybody introduce themselves?
I'm Katie Sheehan. I'm a senior from Belmore, Long Island.
Christina Placcio. I'm a senior from Westchester.
Bridget McHugh. I'm a senior from New Hyde Park.
Erica Darpino. I'm a senior from Endicott.
Okay, and Bridget, you've been on the show before, so this is like old hat for you. It'd be fine. So really what we're just going to do is we're just going to spend some time just talking about your kind of cumulative four-year careers. I mean, certainly you have some more volleyball left to play. We know that. We got another half a season and beyond, we hope, in the postseason. Katie, why don't you start off by just letting us know what kind of an odyssey it's been for you during your 4 years?
Well, this season was really exciting. We started out with a trip to Puerto Rico, so that was definitely kick-started this season. But over the 4 years, it's been a journey. Lots of ups, a little bit of downs, but got to stay positive throughout the whole thing.
Right, and everybody, what about you, Christina?
I'd say within all 4 years, it's been probably the best decision to play volleyball, and I just really enjoyed it.
Bridget?
Yeah, I mean, the same as these other two girls before me, but we started out with 8 or 9 of us, and there's only 4 left, so I think to all of us, like, it was awesome, and we still have some time left, like you said, but these 4 years have been.
What about for you, Eric?
Yeah, I wasn't positive I was going to play volleyball in college, but I think, like Christina said, it was a really good decision. Like, these are my best friends, and I wouldn't have met them if I didn't play, so.
Right, and Coach Cashman talked about that, about how the four of you have kind of really gelled, but you brought the whole team together, because every year, you have players coming and going, recruits, you never know how players are going to react when they join your program, but she said she's really, the four of you have helped give stability to the program. I mean, what does that mean to each one of you to be kind of the leaders of being able to pass on what we've built here? I mean, anyone, as you can just. I mean, you two of you have sisters here, so obviously you've had a great experience. I mean, maybe you can talk about that, Christina, first, about having your younger sister here playing.
I think it's awesome. I am so happy. I think we've already been close, but I think we're becoming closer, just spending so much time with each other.
Right.
And I just love playing with her. It's been like my parents' dream. Like, they love that.
Right, to be able to come to, you don't have to split. They can just go somewhere and watch their two daughters play
So much
volleyball.
easier.
Same for you. I mean, your parents have been, I think they're at every match. I mean, I know I've seen it all the home matches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it was the same thing. I was really happy when Jill decided, because she was unsure also if she was going to come here or not, so I was really excited when she did decide.
Right, now what do you think? I mean, was it just because you guys were here, or I mean, what else sold them on coming and playing with Big Sister? I mean,
I think her recruit visit, she had a lot of fun, and like she loved the girls right away. Like, she got along with everyone, so I think that definitely helped.
Right. Mm-hmm. Now, how Katie, you've done a lot of things on campus. You're president of Student Athlete Advisory Council, which is certainly a great honor. I mean, what kind of opportunities do you think that's added to your overall experience here?
Oneonta has given me numerous opportunities, especially the athletics department. Definitely all of my community service, or majority of it, comes from the athletic department. Things like Into the Streets and the migrant workers baskets, and really just able to get a sense of Oneonta community and help out.
Right, and how important do you think those things are, Bridget, to be in the community?
I think they're huge. All 4 of us are different majors completely, but I think everything that we've done through volleyball and through just athletics and everything it's taught us in general, like that's what every one of our future employees is looking for. So
Right, the things that you can put on your resume, leadership, showing that you've been on a team, been part of a team, built and been leaders for a program. I mean, are those the kinds of things that you're trying to pass on to the younger players that come into the program? I mean, can one of you maybe speak about that and what it's like to be able to do that?
The new Leadership Academy, our entire team is a part of it, which is really exciting because I know in the past it's kind of been us four doing leadership stuff. So to have all 16 of us being in that Leadership Academy is definitely going to make the future program of Oneonta State Volleyball even better.
Right. Now, do you guys, I'm sure you don't, but I mean, for your younger sisters, I mean, do you think they feel like you're just kind of pulling them along somewhere, or do they just like, hey, this is great, I want to do these things because, it's really part of what we do? I mean, how do they react to some of that stuff?
Well, Jill's a sophomore now, so
Right.
I think like from last year it was a lot of like, come on Jill, like you know the rules, like, and just kind of like showing her like the ropes and stuff. But now that she's had a year under her belt, I think that I'm hoping she's starting to take after us four
Right.
and really step into that leadership role.
Right. Now, your sister's a freshman, so
Yeah.
she's like a newbie. How's the transition been for her?
It's been good. I think with the whole leadership program, she went to that meeting and she did enjoy it after, and she said that she learned a lot. So hopefully she'll realize how important it is to be in that leadership role.
Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about your academic experiences. Just tell us what each one of you are majoring in so people can.
I'm in adolescent education and mathematics dual major.
Wow, dual major.
An English major.
a dietetics major with a health and fitness minor.
And I'm a biology major.
Wow, so 4 very different areas of study, which is, I think, as you say, you each complement each other. Maybe there are classes that overlap, and certainly, some of the younger players, they might say, hey, you had biology, can you give me an idea of, do you tutor? Do you get involved in any of that?
I tutor, yeah.
Double major, I mean,
Yeah.
you've won our top academic award the last 2 years. I mean, just to make, so everybody knows that you've done very well.
I'm a CADE tutor, and I also do, I'm the only Calc 2 drop-in tutor for CADE as well. So definitely another great opportunity on campus. Got to work with a lot of students, both athletes and non-athletes, and help them in academics. And I want to be a teacher, so it really helped me
Right.
find out what I wanted to do.
You want to be secondary? What?
Yep, so
Secondary.
I'll be certified 7 through 12.
Okay, 7 through 12. Now, what are you hoping to do with the English? Looking at
My
what?
plan right now is to get into journalism for magazines. That would
Okay.
be my ultimate goal.
We've had some student athletes, former student athletes. I mean, we had a former volleyball player, isn't she? I don't know, Katie Welch, I think.
Katie Welch,
She
yeah.
went to Sports Illustrated, didn't she? Or something. She worked for magazines, so certainly it's not out of the ordinary for people to go from here to Sports Illustrated, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've had just somebody go to ESPN. So, I mean, we've got, the program is certainly somewhere where you can go. And now you want to dietetics and fitness, so you want to.
Yeah, sports nutrition is where ideally I'd like to be. So I still got some more schooling and internships, but that's my ultimate goal.
Oh, good.
My plan is to go to nursing school and then see where that takes me from there.
Right. Now, do you think that some of your majors being in a different, academic area, do you think that your influence within maybe the team arena helps, maybe get some kids that maybe might be undeclared or maybe thinking about a different major or changing a major? They might see your program. I mean, how do you think that works within a larger group? We got 16 players, which is a pretty large group. So.
Last year, actually, one of the sophomores and another freshman were undecided, and just through they were thinking about dietetics, and just through talking about what I do in my classes and what I'm studying and all the aspects of it, they're actually now both declared dietetics majors. So that was cool for me to kind of help them out, and they both love it. So.
Yeah. Well, see, I think it's just great that the 4 of you are really in a cohesive sense to be able to do that together. I mean, you're all working together, and as Coach Cashman mentioned earlier on the show, it's like, when we all talk, everybody listens because we're all saying the same thing, and important to team culture. Can we talk a little bit about team culture? Because that's kind of the buzzword now. Everybody wants to build a team culture, for success, because, people say team culture, a good team culture leads to team overall success. And certainly, during the 4 years, you've been involved in different team cultures, I'm sure. But how do you think building this team culture is maybe a little different than any other year?
I think just the culture that us 4 have together, like how we interact influences how the team interacts. So we're all friends outside of volleyball, so most of the team is also now friends outside of volleyball, so I think that definitely impacts it.
Right. Now, and so to get them to, I guess you say, buy into, the things that you do on and off the court probably is a little easier, would you say?
Yeah, especially our program, we're really big on traditions. Like every match we cheer, and we have cheers going back from before 2000, and it's really important that that's our team culture all the time. So I think the younger girls definitely caught on quick with that this year.
Right. Volleyball, over the years of watching volleyball, certainly it seems like it's one of the few sports where even if you make a mistake, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like you're always cheering and always encouraging. I mean, is that the culture of volleyball? I mean, even at all levels, or,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because if you make a mistake, you have to be able to brush it off and then just get right back in it, because they're going to come at you again and you're going to have to perform well.
Right, because of the rally scoring. I mean, you score on every point. So if you can't really
all about momentum.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, if you get down and all of a sudden you're 5 points in a row and you're looking at the score and you're like, whoa, weren't we just tied or something?
Right.
I mean. So this season, we're about midway through, like we said. We've got another half to go, looking towards those SUNY weekends. And do you like the new format of just one division now instead of the East-West split? Talk about that a little bit.
I like that we get to play the people from the West, but it also is only one game.
Right.
So if you play poorly against a team that you should beat, that has more of an impact than it did in the past.
Right.
So that's hard.
I know that it took years for them to figure out how to best go about it. I mean, most people thought it would take at least 3 weekends to be able to, get to everybody.
Right.
But I can see what you're saying. I mean, so you might like to play them home and home maybe, like home and away, so you get 2 shots and see what happens. Now, it's 6 teams format to the championship. There's 10 playing institutions. I mean, how do you think we're faring? I mean, we've been through 1 weekend, but certainly, we have 2 left, so we certainly have more time. I mean, how do you look at the SUNY overall as a conference and how we're competing?
I think coming from our freshman year, a lot of teams have changed their capabilities. So for us, it's not the same teams, and so there aren't really teams anymore that's like, oh yeah, we have this game. So
Right.
every game we have to bring our A game and fight every single time.
Right. Now, over the 4-year period, then it's become more competitive, because certainly for a time there, it just seems like Cortland was winning it all the time, and then maybe 1 year Fredonia would be there, and then so you're saying that maybe a little more even for everybody, and so it makes every match exciting, right? And we've watched them. I mean, it's just just to watch and play every point, like you say. Anything highlights from your 4 years? I mean, we went to Puerto Rico. Certainly, Coach Cashman talked about what a great trip that was, to be able to just to go there and spend time and build this team culture, team bonding, because I know that the volleyball program over the years has been one of those programs that's done a lot of team bonding outside of volleyball to try and build that team culture. So, I mean, is there anything besides the Puerto Rico trip that maybe you can point to over your 4 years that's been kind of a memory or a highlight, or,
I mean, my favorite will always be beating my sister.
Okay,
She's going to
King
kill me
State,
when
right?
she sees it, but that was the highlight of my actual playing career. But I think it's cliche, but just the relationships I've built with past players, like the freshmen now, like everyone in between is just,
Right.
it's awesome.
Right. Playing with your sisters? I mean, is that
Yeah.
kind of special? I mean, we've had plenty of, brothers, sisters, twins. I mean, they've all gone through here, and they all kind of say the same thing. I mean, to be able to play 4 more years or 3 more years or 2 more years, with a sibling is always kind of special. I mean, what your parents, I mean, what kind of things do they talk about when that both of you are here for the 2 of you? I mean, the education, the college, I mean.
Yeah, well, my sister's also a biology major, so she is always going to be following in my footsteps, so she gets a lot of crap for that. But it's really good. I think that they're really happy that we're both happy here.
Right.
Yeah.
Same.
My parents are just happy we're together and that I could help her out when I need to, and I'm with her in the library, and that's their main concern. Making sure she stays on track and
Right.
stuff like that.
Which, I mean, I think, again, as the 4 team leaders, it seems like you have a good handle on, kind of looking out for the younger players in the program, which I think is important. Coach Cashman preaches that all the time. That Division III experience, participation and reaching your fullest potential. I mean, would you have chosen any other division? I mean, is Division III where you thought you would want to be, and has it been everything you thought it would be?
Well, I'm real little, so Division III was definitely, I think, the right choice, and I think we work on a higher level than Division III. We put in the time in the library, and we also put in just as much time in the gym.
Right. In off season, how important is that?
Really important.
Yeah. And part of the program, 4 years. I mean, has it gotten different, more difficult? You changed it. I mean, how's it developed over the 4 years? Because we've added, we have a $250 million. We put $250,000 into a pretty state-of-the-art equipment. I mean, is that added to the your overall fitness and the things that we're doing now? Now, are those things? I mean, when you're trying to push along the younger players in our program to get them to do that and say, hey, listen, this stuff really does, benefit us. So, hopefully you'll continue to do it. But community service. What kinds of community service things have we done over the 4 years?
Our biggest one is Into the Streets, and ever since we've been freshmen, and even before that, we go to the Boy Scout camp, and we do everything from painting cabins to cleaning kitchens to ripping up boards and building up new ones. So we get our hands dirty in that. That's my favorite.
Prior to you getting here, did you ever do anything like that? Like in high school, did you ever do any community service projects? Or?
Only though I ran a volleyball tournament, and raised money for Chow and stuff, but that was for a class. We were required to run a program, something to do. So.
Right. What about you, Katie?
I was going to say nothing as intense and as hands-on as Into the Streets. It's definitely a lot of hard work, but they appreciate everything that we do, because I think it's only 4 guys that run it up there, and I think it's the Henderson Reservation that we go to, and everything else is just volunteer from the Scouts themselves. So when they come in, they see 16 girls ready to work. It's really, really nice.
Now, what kinds of as you graduate and go on to where you go after here? I mean, will community service still be part of what you do? I mean, getting involved, and I mean, would you be more apt to say, oh, sure, I'll lend a hand or whatever if I can, fit it into your schedule? I mean, one of the benefits of being a Division III student athlete to be able to do all that, time management, right? I mean, you learn all about time management being a student athlete. What are some of the maybe small time management things that you might have learned that you didn't have when you came here? We'll go around and see.
I think just realizing, I used to be like, oh, I only have an hour, so I'll just go eat. But now it's I only have an hour, so I'm going to do all my homework and eat lunch at the same time. Because you only have an hour, because you have to go to practice and then you have to sleep. So you really have to jam-pack the time that you do have.
Right. What about for you, time management?
I think the use of my agenda book and calendar to really lay out and see my week, and then from there schedule the week before that so I can get it all done.
Right. Christine?
Yeah, I use my agenda is my life at school. I wouldn't be able to function without it. Yeah. And just using it to not procrastinate stuff.
Right.
I think transitioning from a high school student into a future high school teacher, high school, they kind of tell you when you need to study, when your test is, and in college, it's all on your own. So if you don't start studying for that test, 2 weeks before, you're not going to do very well. So it's definitely something to think about as a future high school teacher.
Right. I mean, I would tend to say that I have two. I have one in high school and one in middle school now, and you're like, are you learning how to study? You know what I mean? It seems like, oh, I'll learn it today and then I'll take a quiz tomorrow. You know what I mean? So I think that's probably the biggest transition for most. I would think from being a high school senior to a college freshman would be just learning how to, study and manage your time. And certainly as student athletes, you have to be able to do that quite well. And you do it quite well, because obviously you're 4 outstanding student athletes that we've had, and certainly great representatives of our program and the kind of athletes that we want here. So I want to congratulate all of you beforehand, because I know you still got plenty of time left, but and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
For coming by. Well, I'd like to thank all 4 senior members of the volleyball team for coming by tonight, and Coach Cashman for joining us. And we'd like to remind you that you can follow the volleyball team for the rest of their season at www.oneontaathletics.com. Thank you for joining me this week, and we'll see you next time on Inside Red Dragon Sports.